latest project, one that we haven't seen on the big screen yet, but it's in the making, is called Nebraska. Please tell us a few words about that.
It's a musical comedy in color. And no, it's, no, my next film, Nebraska, is a modest little comedy in black and white in my home state of Nebraska, not in my hometown of Omaha, but in the provincial areas of my state. And it's a father-son road trip, and it'll be out this fall. This film will be my first in black and white. And I always wanted to make, I'm a big film buff, and I would say 95% of the movies I watch are in black and white, and I always wanted to make one.
Going to Greece, you were there, I think, last year. Do you have any plans going there soon, maybe for vacation or work or something else?
I'm going to go as soon as I finish this film, I'm going to Greece, probably in June. My family are from 3 different areas, the island of Syros, from Livadia, and also, and these are the relatives with whom we are most in touch, from Aegio. I have no concrete plans, but I have growing within me the urge to move to Greece, not permanently, but for a while, learn Greek well, finally, and use my movie camera as a way to tell a Greek story, and in doing so, find out more about myself. Look, I'm an American. I'm a Greek American, but I'm an American. However, this crisis affecting Greek has, I feel it energizing my DNA. And when I hear bad things about Greece, I think, I can say that. You can't say that. I can say bad things about Greece if I want to, but you shut up. And it's made me think that, look, it doesn't necessarily help or cure anything, but it helps somewhat. I just think it's the right time for artists, including those Greek artists of the diaspora, to make beautiful things and do so somehow with the consciousness of being Greek and helping Greece in mind. Now that sounds kind of vague. I don't know exactly what that means, even though I'm saying it, but I stick by it.
Back to the Oscars, you kind of told us what was going through your mind that night and everything. What I'm really interested to know, it's what did your mother tell you after that speech?
You know, my mother is funny. On the one hand, she's a little unsentimental. On the other hand, and I said this when I received the Oscar, when I had won 7 years previous, she had said, you didn't mention me. And then later when Javier Bardem won his Oscar and he went on and on about his mother in Spanish, she said, you should, if you win another Oscar, you should dedicate it to me just like Javier Bardem did with his mother. So in a way, the fact that I did it was like, okay, good, now we can move on.
Did it ever pass through your mind to stop, as your parents would suggest, to say it's enough, I tried enough, maybe this is not going to work for me?
No, I never thought about stopping. I love movies too much.
And what kind of jobs did you do until then? Because it's hard as a young filmmaker to make it. What were you doing back then?
You know what happened is when I graduated from UCLA Film School with a hit student film, and within a month of graduation I was offered a writing, directing deal at Universal Studios, where I could write anything I wanted, and if they wanted to make it, I would direct it. Now, I was paid for that $125,000. Of which, because of taxes, agent, and lawyer, you'd keep about half. So that was about $60,000, which I lived on for 5 years, because I never changed my lifestyle from that of a student. And then I did a couple of small film jobs, and also, in film school, just before that, I worked for years as a catering waiter. I am proud of the fact that the 2 Greek-American directors who precede me, Elia Kazan and John Cassavetes, both were great humanists and interested in the intricacies of the human heart, as I aspire to be. John Cassavetes really didn't make studio movies. He made a couple. Yeah. That was very independent, with he himself holding the camera and going and being very intimate. And they're very purely art films in that way. Kazan and I can't believe I'm saying that in the same breath. Kazan and I are studio directors, but with a certain degree of independence, even though our financing comes from the studio. I don't have a favorite among my films, but I will tell you that the film I receive the most compliments on is Election. I think, and I like that film in this aspect, that I think it's the only film I've made which isn't too long. The state of American cinema. I can only give a subjective answer. I can't give just as to the type of movies I want to see. In general, the intelligent comedy has been lost, and the intelligent drama has been lost. They're all making Roger Corman films now. Cops, car chases, guns, science fiction. They don't want to spend $15 million on a small human movie. They'd rather spend $150 million on a big one and get a big return. And I'm fine with that. Look, a movie can be anything. I want someone alone in his tiny apartment making a film about his cat, and I want the big film about, outer space, but not at the expense of that middle section that made many of us want to become filmmakers in the first place, which is literate dramas and comedies.
What changes you see we will see in the classic filmmaking, the type of filmmaking that you do, if any?
Unlike science, which each generation stands on the shoulders of the generation before to have progress, art does not have progress. Art simply shifts given the time in which it's created. Because the human heart does not progress. It merely shifts given the time in which it is born. That's how I feel about your question. A 1930s honest film looks and feels on the surface different from one made in the 70s or the 90s or now. But underneath its form, it's the exact same humanism and compassion and exploration of the human heart.
And would you ever like to maybe take yourself a little bit outside of the waters you have already explored? Maybe seeing you doing a movie more CGI, maybe a 3D movie, maybe something that will be different than what we know?
If the story is good. The form doesn't matter. It's what's the story and who are the people.